Apparently, so why don't I?
You want to take care of that?
I'll take care of the music. And say again. Hold them up even closer. Wow, it's really loud here, but we'll to help the people in the back. Okay.
He'll love it.
Without further ado, let's give a big hand to Lisa Wilson.
Thank you guys all for coming. They always put me on these panels because I'm like the biggest geek in the room. And I think that we really are privileged to be in the presence of this panel discussion right here, right? Everybody want to give them a warm welcome. I personally worked at the largest integrated health medical practice on the East Coast in the nutrition department, National Integrative Health Associates, which is why I like to get together and geek out with guys like this. So I remember, for example, the first time I met Dr. Lodi in Florida at the Annie Appleseed Conference. As a speaker, I cornered him for like 2 or 3 hours and totally picked his brain. And so now I get to pick all of their brains. Is this amazing or what?
Yeah. Go, Lisa.
So thank you. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to pass the microphone down the line, and I will let them introduce themselves. We're literally in a room full of legends today, and like I said, it's a really, really great honor. After we do that, then I'm going to pass it around again, and I'm going to ask them if they could tell people just one thing. What is the #1 thing that you could do for your health? What would your one thing be? And then we're going to kind of go from there and see how this unfolds. Like I said, I have my own questions. I'd like to geek out. And so we're just going to pass it on down. And if you guys would just, welcome and just say who you are and your area of expertise and what you do.
Okay. Thom Lodi.
Let's stand up.
Yes, I'm Thom Lodi, and I am a medical doctor, a recovering allopath, and I spent 10 years doing that, hurting people, poisoning people, and then I spent 10 years poisoning people until one day I woke up and changed, traveled around the world and learned other ways of working with people. And originally my practice was psychology, and then I went into medicine. And so eventually I wound up working with cancer, exclusively with cancer. But it turns out that the relatives of my patients don't have cancer, and they don't want to get it. So really, I work with everything. And the foundation of what I do is to teach people how to stop making cancer, because really, if someone comes in with a lump in their breast and it's malignant, and it never grows another millimeter and it doesn't spread anywhere, they're going to live a normal life. So they're really not asking me, how do I get rid of this? They're asking me, how do I stop making this? So really, that's the foundation of what I do. I have a center here in Arizona, and then I also have 2 centers now in Thailand, one in Bangkok and one in Phuket, which will open in September. So I try to avoid this country as much as possible.
Yeah. Wow.
Viktoras Kulvinskas from Costa Rica, where we hold retreats. I'm also a recovering theoretical mathematician. Has gone into alternatives over 50 years ago as a way to save my own personal life, and because of that, co-founded with Ann Wickmore, Hippocrates Health Institute, wrote a bestseller on holistic healing, survival in the 21st century. Presently, I continue to work as a teacher at Hippocrates Health Institute. We have health educator programs, and I work with our Enzymatica Research Center in Minnesota, where we develop some of the best products in the world. And also I hold retreats in Costa Rica during the winter months when it's cold in USA. And I look forward to sharing some of our insights into the dynamics of ever-changing demographics of consciousness on planet Earth.
So I'm going to start with a prayer, which is the elevating the earth to the heavens, which is really what we're all about here. Shimmy kud kudushabrihu ushihinte bi ilu or ilu laiha shinyuki babke yida shalom hashem kozriel kol alam amen. So take a moment and feel yourself elevating into the heavens. Okay. Good. So that's my work. But I am trained in a few different areas. Holistic physician, psychiatrist, family therapist, written about 12 different books. Our newest book is coming out in September called Conscious Parenting. It's about time we kind of entered into that field and supported parents. I've been involved in spiritual life for since the late 60s, and really particularly 3 areas. One is yoga, and people come to the meditation, the Shaktipat meditation. Lived in India on and off for 7 years with Swami Muktananda, and I'm also an ordained rabbi, and also I'm a Native American sun dancer, the 4-year sun dance, and member of the High Horse Clan. And that kind of rounds up some of that picture. So it's an integration of spirituality, and I've also started the Tree of Life Center U.S. in Patagonia, Arizona, and the Tree of Life Foundation, which is a nonprofit. We have 33 centers around the world, and our mission is really preventing and healing diabetes, and also spreading the live food vegan teachings. So at our center in Patagonia, we are teaching organic veganic farming, which is pretty important for avoiding the whole GMO nonsense, or let's say the difference between faith-based science, which is vaccinations and GMO nonsense, versus fact-based science, okay, which is why we don't do that, why we live the way we live, put it that way. That there's some fact-based. So that's kind of what we're doing, and then from that, it's a teaching center. People come from have come from over 117 different countries to learn at the Tree of Life and do the diabetes prevention, which I'll be talking about at 2 o'clock. But basically, we're healing 61% of non-insulin dependent diabetics and 24% of insulin dependent type 2 diabetics and 21% of type 1. All of which is considered impossible, but they just haven't read the literature and not understood what live foods can do in that process. So that's a little bit about what I'm doing. We also teach sacred relationships as well, among everything else.
Right.
Okay, glad to be here.
Right.
Just have a reminder to speak up.
Yeah. So just wave your hand if you cannot hear me. My name is Dan Engle. I'm an integrative and holistic psychiatrist. Have done a fair bit of work inside and outside of the country, got into traumatic brain injury recovery, entheogenic research, and have been the medical director at a variety of centers, rehabilitation medicine centers where people would come specifically to get off of psychiatric medications using detoxification, nutrigenomics, mind and spirit-based consciousness technologies, and the variety of technologies now that we see that help us return to oneness. And I appreciated Gabriel opening up into a prayer, because ultimately at the end of the day, that's what we're really all desiring to do, is experiencing more fulfillment in our own lives and more fulfillment with each other. It's a great opportunity to be in a panel with such rich tradition. We've probably got a collective experience of about 160 to 200 years of dedicated personal research and service to others, pushing this into the, what are the technologies for frontier medicine? And it's going to be a bit of a challenge to choose just one of our favorite things to do, but we'll do our best to do that. And yeah, that's it in a nutshell. Thanks so much.
My name is Aziz Patel, and I'm a water specialist. My name is Aziz Patel, and I'm a water specialist. My expertise is in finding out why the cell has stopped, or the water molecule stopped hydrating the cell. This is really my first real big, or any presentation I've done. I've been studying water for about 10 years and studying water technologies and all these people that have made this stuff. So what I've looked for is legitimate science behind it. And you know, as far as being a legend, it might only be in my own mind. So. Yes?
Just if you could all speak louder.
Just a little, okay, I'll put my, cool, I'll try that. Is that better? Okay. Really, I don't even have a 4th grade education, but I have been studying water a long time, and I've been studying technologies and the people that have made this and their integrity behind it, and what are they trying to actually accomplish, you know, by these goals. Is it for money? Is it, what is this? What are they trying to do? And so that intention, you know, what they're bringing through them and the product they're creating, that's where my resonance is with the technologies. And so I don't really have too much more to say right now, but I did bring a biochemist with me. Tony Cox came all the way from Colorado to just support us here. So if you have any really detailed questions on the chemistry that I can't answer, he can. Yes,
it's just water.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the, and then I also have Lisa and Jared there who've been drinking our water for about the past year. Jared had stage 4 cancer and has noticed a significant change in his body pH as well as kidney functions. So when you hydrate, you get, you know, basic pH balanced water into the cell, out of the cell, into the cell. Eventually, the body's going to balance out on its own, but you got to get hydration. The other part is the bodily functions, all organ functions are due to hydration. So once again, if you have any other questions, I'll be right here.